not even really a drive, because I'm not sure where the drive and hard drive comes from. It's got a motor. It's got a motor.
And so it is the opposite of floppy disk.
But like they were floppy disks and hard drives. But drive isn't the opposite of disk.
Oh.
Like I got to assume the drive is because there's a motor in there and it spins it a lot.
Okay, right.
And you can also talk about floppy drives.
Right.
We were having a lovely discussion earlier about Tinder, because my friend John's in the market again, people. If you're looking for a less wealthy, less socially connected Anderson Cooper type with, let's just say he has an unusual dress style on Mondays. So hopefully you like Paisley. If you like Anderson Cooper types in Paisley, I have the person for you. And if you are a single lady type, you are possibly his type. So post below in the comments section, and I will connect the two of you up. And then, I'm not going to do that. The last time I did that, it did not work out. I'm sorry, people. Anyway, it is December of 2017. It's the last show, 2017. Last year, I think I opened the show with, this is the last Keith Explains of 2016, right? Because I was hoping that like the studio audience would do the huge, you know, I just announced that we were being canceled, or, you know, that I was getting a job on the big network or something. No one cared. No one cared. No one has ever mentioned to me that I played with their emotions for a few seconds by implying that this TV show, which nobody watches, was ending. Eventually this TV show will end. I do not expect a write-up in the New York Times, you know, talking about the many good seasons and the highlights and stuff. It's December. That means a couple things. First of all, I and everyone else is crazy busy with holiday stuff. And secondly, we just finished November. November for me was also kind of busy. I had this conference I had to go to in the first weekend, which you can't talk about because it's a conference you can go to, but you aren't supposed to talk about. And then we had Thanksgiving, and we had, before Thanksgiving, we get the whole week of Thanksgiving off. So like the 2 weeks before, you're busy working to make sure you can go on vacation. So it's not as great as it could be having a week off, but it's still nice. And in my case, I start a lot of vacations by writing a list of things I can do on vacation. And as you know, I write lists like this. I take a piece of paper, I fold the piece of paper in half, and then I turn it sideways, and then I write a list. And then that means that I have, you know, from a piece of paper, which, you know, I use a quarter of my pieces of paper, I guess is what I'm saying. I must hate trees. But it's just what I do. And then I write the list, and then like I have a clipboard that I keep around the house, and I would like check stuff off, and I write stuff in the bottom. And usually by the third day of a vacation, I lose the clipboard. And I'm like, what am I going to do? So I started putting the list in my little phone app of list things. And so we got, oh look, there's a new Pokemon. It's green. I think that means there's a Pokemon I haven't gotten before. No, that's yellow. No, green is, I'm going to push it. Watch. And now it's going to buzz. It's going to buzz again. I'll get back to that. I took it off because I didn't want it buzzing and flashing onto my shirt and have everyone wonder, what the heck is going on? Does Keith have one of them nuclear reactors in his chest so he can fly around? No, it's nowhere near that cool. Come back to Thanksgiving. Usually near the start of any long break, I have to construct this list of things to do, or more realistically, to not get done and feel bad about by the end of break. And in this case, I went to my little app where I keep track of shit, and I was like, it's time to make my list again. And then I found the list I made last Christmas, you know, 11 months ago, and most of it still wasn't done. So again, I felt bad, Like, look at all this stuff I was going to do. It's been 11 months. I haven't gotten most of it done because it takes time and stuff happens. So I guess I should make a new list, or I could just change the title of this list to Thanksgiving 2017, and then I could type a couple things in the bottom of it, and then I'd have a... So that's what I did. I took my long list of the things I hadn't done, which apparently I can't do, and I renamed it to my current list, and I added some stuff to it, and then I got all that stuff done over Thanksgiving. No, I lied to you. I lied to you people. Again, I got very little on that list done. I got a couple things done. Like I had, we live in a 2-story house, and there's a light in the stairway between the upstairs and the downstairs. And like 10 or 15 years ago, it had occurred to me, I'm a computer scientist-y person, I should automate all the lights in my house so that wherever I am, I can just typey and like the whole house will go dark, because that's something that I like to do. And then I paid a bunch of money and I bought all these programmable switches and I put all the switches in and I never got the damn thing working. But apparently the switches go bad after like 5 or 10 years. So slowly switches in my house have stopped working. It's the most frustrating thing. Like you just get used to walking into a room and hitting the switch and the light comes on. And then someday I'd like walk into the computer room and hit the switch and the light wouldn't come on. And I'd be like, then I have to hold the switch down, and then after like 3 or 4 seconds it would come on. And then I'd be angry every time I went into that room because I couldn't turn the light on or couldn't turn it off. And then eventually I'd buy a new light switch and I'd install the new light switch and then I could turn the light on. So like there were rooms that just habitually I would not go to because it was hard to turn the light on and it made me angry. And eventually the light switch at the top of the stairs was one of these switches that stopped working. So it suddenly became very hard to turn that light on or off, and then it became impossible, and then that light switch started making a horrible whining noise, making me think that my entire house was going to burn down any minute. So I turned the power off, took that switch out, and then for like a month, I had just connected the 2 wires together. We could not turn the light off because there was no longer any switch there. The light was just on all the time, and I felt kind of bad. But like I justified it by saying, well, at least it's an LED bulb. It's like $1 worth of electricity a year. So this is dumb, but I'm not wasting a huge amount of electricity. But it's very annoying every time you go to bed to think, I got to go turn the hallway light off, and then realize you can't turn the hallway light off. So eventually I bought a new switch, and I went to install, and I was going to install the new switch. And then that's when I discovered, I knew this, it's a 2-way switch. There's a switch at the top of the stairwell and a switch at the bottom of the stairwell. 3-way switches are electrician's magic. Like no one really knows how a 3-way switch works off the top of their head, right? They always have to think about it for a minute. And then they figure out, oh yeah, we've just flipped the 2 and there's a carrier and blah, blah, blah. So I had to replace my switch with a new switch. So I'm not bright, so I'm buying a new brand of programmable switches. So I bought one of those. And then I had to figure out where the wires were going here. Like, did the power come in from the bottom and then go up and then the light switch, or did it go through the light switch? And it took me like 4.5, 5 hours to replace this damn switch. And get the light working again over a couple days. And midway through that, Loretta was like, you have to call an electrician because you were too angry in your house to make progress here. And I was like, it used to work. Like, there are wires in the wall. I just need to understand where the wires go. And eventually I figured it out. Eventually I did figure out where the wires go. I got the switch installed. And I went to install the downstairs switch, and then I realized that this light switch I had bought had the wrong, like I needed a special switch for a 3-way circuit, not like a normal switch, like a special switch, which I didn't have. So I was like, arr! And then I ordered the special switch on Amazon, and then it showed up 2 days later, and then I lost it. So for like a month, we were back to the situation where we couldn't turn the light off or on from downstairs. We only turned on from upstairs. So again, even though I've installed a light switch, we've gotten in the habit of leaving that light on, because if you're downstairs, you have to walk upstairs through the dark hallway to get to the switch, turn it on, so you can walk downstairs, so then you can walk upstairs and light. It's crazy. I did fix it, people. I got the right switch. I ordered another one. Somewhere in my house, there's the wrong switch. And when I find it, I'm gonna do the other two-way switch in my house. Now I've got it. The crazy thing is, none of this is on the list of stuff I was gonna talk about, of stuff I got done over Thanksgiving. Like, again, on my long list of things over Thanksgiving to get done, I, again, accomplished very little of it. One of the things was do some cleaning up in the computer room. And by cleaning up, I mean, I have a desk with a computer where I edit this TV show, and I like typing my little financy stuff. And occasionally I play a couple little games on Steam and some email and whatever. And over time, just a pile of paper accumulates of things I've gotten in the mail or that I have to save or whatever. And then every once in a while I get the time and I go in there and I just start dropping those pieces of paper in the scanner, and then I type them into the bank app. I don't know why, but I do. And then after the piece of paper come out of the scanner, I put them in a little thing, and then we shred all of that. And now I have 5 boxes of stuff in my house to shred, because I just powered through. Everything I was scanning and dropping and typing. And I found at the bottom of the last pile was from a year ago. So that pile has been there for a year waiting for me to get to it. I got that done. 8 years ago, when I bought the laser printer to go in there, I had temporarily stuck it on the end of a table because I wanted it at a different place, but there was stuff there. And I spent 3/4 of a day cleaning that whole thing out so I could move the laser printer down. And now I got the laser printer where I wanted it to be when I started. Funny additional story, after I moved the laser printer, it doesn't work anymore. And I don't know why. I can't figure it out. Again, that makes me angry, so I'm trying not to think about that. On the plus side, I got the laser printer moved. On the downside, it's no longer a printer. So now I've got a thing down there that's useless to me and a house with no printer. What else do we do over Thanksgiving? Every year, when my sister-in-law Maureen used to live out here, she convinced me to do this thing called the turkey trot, which is on Thanksgiving Day. You get up ungodly early, and you go to downtown San Jose, and you run a 5 or 10K race, and then you go home. And after you've gone home, you feel less bad eating a lot of turkey and pie because you got a little exercise in the morning, and it raises money for charity. It's a nice thing. And then Maureen abandoned me by moving to another state. And for some reason, I still get up ungodly early and go to downtown San Jose and run the frickin' turkey trot race, and then go home. And this year, we decided not to have any actual Thanksgiving food because we were lazy. We didn't want to cook food. So we just, I don't remember what we had. Maybe it was sandwiches. It was something. Turkey trot. So I went down. Again, I ran the turkey trot. Two vaguely funny things this year, for me at least. It turns out I bought 2 tickets for the turkey trot. I don't quite know how. I bought one for the 5K race and one for the 10K race. And then I picked up the little thing you wear with your number on it for the 5K race. And then I ran the 10K race. So my time is ungodly bad. They're like, you were among the worst people in your age bracket running 5K. I'm like, well, technically I ran 10K. So I wasn't that bad, but I was still pretty bad, I'm pretty sure. Because a lot of people pass me and I don't. That was that. What else did I do? I've come to the realization over Thanksgiving and before that and after that the stuff in my house is just getting a little bit worse every year. The latest example is like a couple years ago, the door in my oven just started to crack, like the glass. This crack just started to slowly go across it, and I was like, well, what do I care if there's a crack in the glass? It still works as an oven. And now apparently we have a couple cracks in the glass, and now we've discovered that there are 2 panes of glass, an outer one and an inner one, and that inner one just has a huge chunk of glass that's fallen out of it. So my stove is rapidly on the decline. Now the downside is that means I have to buy a new stove. I don't want to have to buy a new stove. Last time I bought a stove, it was a pain in the ass. Took a long time, comparing features. I tried to install it myself. Never install your own stove, people. It's just a lot of fidgety, reaching behind, twisting things to try to get. My stove is still not level after all these years. It's a very, like when you go to make eggs, the oil all runs to the bottom, get your stove level. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to buy a new stove. I'm going to pay some guy to install my stove. And when he's done installing my stove, I'm going to put a pot on it. I'm going to put some oil in it. I'm going to make sure it doesn't run to the one side of the pot, the other side. I also discovered my dishwasher has been going crazy for years. Like this little plastic thing on the top breaks every 4 or 5 years. And it breaks because they use like a really cheap piece of plastic to attach a thing. And I didn't want to pay for a new dishwasher or pay for a guy. So like the first time it broke, I like went and found a little explodey part view. And then I was like, well, I need this exact part. And then I paid a paste to mail me that part for like $14. And then I just snapped it in. And then right as rain, 4 years later, it did it again. And that's when I was like, here's when the genius that is Keith paid off. Because that first time when I bought one, I bought two. Because I was like, this is going to break again. And it's $14 shipping. And the part is like $8. So like 4 years ago, I was like, Keith, you're a genius. And I went to the drawer and I got the second part and I snapped it in. I was like, woo, victory. And then like in October, it broke again. Then I was like, oh, why didn't I order 3? Why didn't I order 3 when I had the chance? So I had to go buy another one. This one I found a guy in town that has one. So I drove there and I was like, I would like this. I called earlier and he's like, yeah, I set it aside. We don't get a lot of call for that part. I'm like, well, I would like it. And he's like, okay. I'm like, do you have 2? He's like, no, I only have 1 of these. No one ever gets this. Oh, look, it buzzed again. I'm going to push the button. So I fixed it, and now I have to go order another one for a couple years from now. But I'm wondering whether that's a good idea, because other stuff in the dishwasher is starting to go, like the strip around the door that's supposed to ensure steam doesn't get out is just filthy dirty. Like I feel bad putting my dishes in there, because I'm like, and I've like scrubbed it off once, and it's okay. And now the cover for my little water softener thingy fell off. That's appliances. On the plus side for appliances, a friend of mine a couple months ago, or yeah, like a month or 2 ago, I was talking about what I have for breakfast, which is an English muffin with jelly. And she's like, there's no protein in that. And I'm like, isn't there protein in English muffin? She's like, well, maybe a little, but not enough. I was like, oh, what should I eat? And she's like, you should eat hard-boiled eggs in the morning, because they're easy to make and they have a lot of protein and they're kind of filling, and I don't know, maybe she liked eggs. So I was like, that sounds like a genius idea. I like hard-boiled eggs. And then I tried to make some hard-boiled eggs, and it's not hard to make hard-boiled eggs, but it's hard to peel hard-boiled eggs. Like, I'm like, hey, it took me 8 minutes to make hard-boiled eggs, and it takes me 8 minutes to peel each egg. This is not, I don't know how they do it in the factories. I mean, maybe it's a skill, but it seems to me there's still a lot of peeling involved, very laborious. So I was never happy with the hard-boiled eggs. And then I was looking at a web page, as I do all the time, and it was like, you should buy this hard-boiled egg thing. And I was like, how did you know, web page, that I'm a guy who is unhappy about hard-boiled eggs? And I know the answer to that, which is, in some marketer's dream world, there's a little record for me, and that record has a little checkbox in the will buy random crap if you show it to him. And so every web page I go to just shows me the next random crappy thing, and like I buy a 4th of them. So they've correctly nailed me in terms of I will buy things I shouldn't. Anyway, I bought this hard-boiled thing for like $14 from Amazon. Like you put the eggs in, you put some water in, you poke holes in the eggs so that they don't explode. Originally I was like, I don't know if you have to poke holes in them. I mean, I've made hard-boiled eggs lots of times and never poked holes in them. And then apparently I didn't poke a hole well enough once and my egg exploded. So those engineers knew what they were talking about when they put the little egg pokey thingy and wrote it in the instructions. Egg maker. It's worked out great for me. Look, I've gotten to this piece of paper which has Pokemon Go on it. Pokemon is a game. We have this thing for it's on your phone, and it's a game for kids and some adults. A lot of adults actually play the game. I see many more adults playing the game than kids, although I'm not sure if that's what the intention was originally. You take your phone, you go places, you battle little Pokemons, you capture them in your ball, and you send them to a professor. And if you're crazy, you like buy these things for $30 so that they will buzz when there's a Pokemon nearby, and then you push the button, you catch Pokemon, you don't catch Pokemon. Loretta really rather enjoys the Pokemon game, which again is probably why I play the Pokemon game. And really, if you're a fella and you're looking for a lady, you got to do some of the things a lady likes to do, like play Pokemon. That's words to live by, is what I'm saying, people. So we played the Pokemon, and they changed how the game works. So now there are these things called raids. And so on a moment's notice, Loretta will find me in the house and go, "There's a raid here, and we've got 30 minutes to get there, and we're going to be able to catch a," and then she will say some words, which are the name of some imaginary creature I've never heard of. And I will dutifully say, "Okay, let's go." And we go down, we get in the car, we drive to some random place. And then when we get there, it's full of other nerds like us, just standing around waiting till enough people get there so that together we can battle an imaginary creature and potentially subdue and conquer it. Good times, everyone. There's that. We don't play Pokemon. We play Pokemon because Loretta would have played Pokemon regardless. But before Pokemon, there was a game called Ingress, which we also played, which is very similar. You go places in the real world, and you tappy on your phone, and you take over things for your team. It's like two-team color tag, except it's all virtualized in your phone. And we have been playing Ingress for many years. I think like 4 or 5. Ingress is not just a game where you go places and tappy. Occasionally they have these big events where a lot of people get together and they're all tappying at the same place on each of your 2 teams trying to accomplish something. And we were up in San Francisco over the weekend at the latest, they call them anomalies. Anomaly is a word that means something out of place. And I got to say, a bunch of people standing around staring at their phones, running back and forth. Does seem a little out of place, so anomaly makes sense. We were up there on the Valiant Blue side, trying to keep the world safe from the green side. We were not successful up in San Francisco, as it turns out. Bad news, everyone. But we were up there, and it's a big event. Like, there were hundreds and hundreds of people there, and people had coordinated beforehand and made plans and had maps of where things were, and people were divided into teams, and each of the teams had instructions, and it was like, you know, you guys are going to be here, and you're going to try and do this. And from my perspective, like, I was on a team, and they were like, okay, well, you got to go to this place, and along the way, anything you see that's green, try to take it over, and anything that's blue, and try to get keys for everything. And then when you get there, they'll tell you what to do. And midway through the day, I realized this is probably a lot like what combat was for people in the military, which is you just get told to go somewhere and do something, and you have no idea really why. Like, there there are generals somewhere that have some notion of strategy and whether you're successful or not. I had no idea. I had no idea why I was doing most of the things I was doing. I stood in a place and hit recharge for like 15 minutes, not knowing why, just like recharge and deploy, keep it blue, keep it blue. And then like after we were done, I was like, well, that was kind of pointless. And they were like, well, it kept them from getting the blank. And I was like, really? It would have been great to know that. And they're like, didn't you see it? And I was like, no, I couldn't see it. Ingress. Oh, and on the plus side, I got a parking ticket in San Francisco for parking on the Embarcadero, like $88. I remember to pay it, so someone remind me to pay the ticket. It's in my car. I keep meaning to pay it. Someone remind me. Speaking of the car, my car is now like 17 years old. And I keep, every couple months, someone says, Keith, you should buy a new car. And then I say, why? And they're like, well, don't you want a new car? And the answer is no, I don't want a new car. I just want a car. Like if nothing went wrong with my car, I would just drive that car forever because it works as a car. I get in, I drive, I get out, I'm done driving. It is slowly getting less and less good. So like I'm now at the point where I'm like, well, I mean, I could buy a new car. I don't really want to buy a new car. I mean, they're pricey, and I have this weird thing where I keep thinking the cars are going to someday get a lot better, and today's cars compared to my car are a lot better, but I also keep thinking that like, well, next year's cars will be even better. And specifically, I keep hoping one of these days cars will actually drive themselves. So because I hate driving, especially in traffic. So specifically, like right now, two things. First of all, like 4 years ago, I backed into a pillar, and like the front fender on my car is a little dented. So every couple months it gets dented in, and then I take a screwdriver and pry it open so I can open the front door. I hate that. And like I took it to a place, I was like, can you fix this? And he's like, yeah, but it's probably more than the car's worth. I'm like, yeah, but if you fixed it, then I wouldn't have to keep a large screwdriver in my car and pry it out. And then I can get the car painted because the paint's going bad. And the leather seats are going bad. So now here's the thing, you can let me know. It's like $4,000 to fix everything in my car now, make me happy, or it's like $40,000 to buy a new car. I don't know which of the two to do. I keep waffling. Like a new car, I can get an electric car. I can get a now with a gimpy Bluetooth. I'm not buying a Tesla, people. I'm not made it. Oh, look, we're practically out of time, everyone. Is what I'm talking. It's been lovely spending another time with you. We may or may not tape in January. I don't know. It depends on how close to New Year's it is. We'll figure that one out. Thanks for watching the show. Goodbye, everybody. See you next time. Okay.